To make a short introduction to Vafa, I have read some of the stuff that he has written for a number of years without really knowing him. Just because every time I need something bidirectional, I had to go back to his writing and his packages. Over the last 2 or 3 years, I have the pleasure to meet him at every one of the TUG meetings, and hopefully to continue to do so in the future. With you, Vafa Khalighi, talking about bidirectional and Beamer using XeTeX.
That's right, yeah.
Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. It's around noon here in Australia, so I understand that it could be quite late in other parts of the world. And I appreciate attending this talk. And I hope that you have enjoyed all the talks so far. Okay, so I'm going to talk about right-left Beamer documents in XeTeX. So I firstly want to dedicate this talk to Michael Spivak. I will talk about that first before actually getting to the main things that I want to talk about. Then I will tell you about the story behind this talk and how it all started. Then I will talk about the color problems in text-edit algorithm in right-to-left modes. Then I will go and talk about paying attention to details in Beamer and what it means. And at the end, I actually will show you all the things that I actually worked for this particular talk, all the issues that are fixed, and talk about them. I was quite sad and heartbroken to find out that Michael Spivak actually passed away in 2020. I read Barbara Beaton's article on Tugboat, and Michael Spivak, although I've never seen him face to face, he was really a mentor and a teacher to me. I learned a lot of mathematics from his wonderful textbooks, and also whenever I had a problem doing an exercise in his textbooks or understanding a concept, I would email him and he would kindly and generously answer all of my questions. So I started with this textbook of Michael Spivak. It's the calculus book. I think this is mostly used in US universities for honors calculus or an introduction to analysis. And one of the things that is very interesting about this book, firstly, is that the exposition is very clean and the number of very interesting exercises. So as I was walking through this textbook, actually, I don't like writing in books, but because I did every single exercise in every section, I just had to like tick them off. That I'm doing all these sections. Another textbook of Spivak that I actually read was his textbook on calculus on manifolds. I'm not sure if you can see this. And I think this is also used in US for multivariable analysis courses. And then his wonderful 5-volume books on differential geometry. My last contact with Spivak was about around 4 or 5 years ago, when I became aware of a bad interaction between MathTime Professional 2 fonts and the bidi package. So I've given a link here, and this is almost a minimal example here. So with the MatTime to professional fonts, what you do is that if you use the control sequence parents, it actually uses the curly parentheses from the fonts. But the issue is that if you actually use the bidi package, you get just the normal CMR parentheses. So the solution that I gave at the time was that what you do, so we have the token every display here. What we do, we append something to this every display, and what we do is that we make the every pair token list empty, and that fixes the problem. But then I contacted Spivak and discussed the issue with him, and he said that it doesn't have anything to do with the bidi package, and he showed me a plain text document where you actually use this kind of construction as well. It also shows an awful output, and he promised to work on the issue and fix it in his package, but I never heard back from him. So that was the last time I was in contact with him. Okay, so let's get to the main thing, the story behind this talk. So if you watched my bidi talk last year, you probably are aware that WhatSeeds are reverse in TechSeed algorithm, and as a result, specials are reversed. So if you consider this particular example, if you didn't know, the bidi package also works in plain text. So if you load the bidi package, so I'm going to have some color text. What you usually do, you use the special to send some directions to the driver. You do color push, then the color model, and this is the red color. And then at the end, you actually do color pop, and the rest should be in normal color. This works perfectly fine in left-to-right mode. But what happens in the right-to-left mode is that because the special are reversed, this doesn't actually produce the right result. So I can probably show what happens here. So for a left-to-right mode, this actually works as you expect. You want the red color to be in red color, and that's what it is. But once you make it right to left, what is going to happen is that things get messy. So what you have to do, you have to, a solution is to actually replace these two specials. So, which is quite funny because you first have to do color pop and then color push, and then you get the right output.
Vafa, I think you are not seeing your slides at all. You are not sharing them.
Oh, sorry. I think I forgot to share screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, now we see us.
Okay, so just let me go to the beginning. I already talked about this. I just want to show you the images that I had in my slides. I'm sorry. Okay. So this is Spivak Kakler's book. This is the table of contents that I talked about. And this is his books on differential geometry. Okay, so this is the minimal example that I talked about. And the solution. And here is the example I just showed. So I can show it again to you. So I previously had this thing there. So we first do color push, and then we do color pop. And things work properly in left-right mode. But once we do a right-left type setting, you don't get what you want, so the color is wrong. So to fix this, one way is to actually use to swap the color ones. So you first start with color pop, and then at the end you do color push, the color model, and then the red color. And it gives you the correct results. Okay, so this was just a basic example, but you can see that doing right to left Beamer documents in XeTeX is not an easy thing. So things can get quite messy. If you already think that bidi is complex, then welcome to complex to the power of 2. So this is more messy. So I had started at the beginning of February. I asked users that I'm going to support Beamer in the next version of the bidi package, and asked them to report issues on GitHub. A bit later, I submitted the abstract of this talk, but at the time I submitted the abstract, I hadn't done anything. So Beamer wasn't working properly with bidi. Initially, users submitted about 10 issues on GitHub, and as I started fixing issues, more issues were reported. It took me almost around 19 days to achieve all the things I planned, and then I had to spend a bit of more time fixing a few other issues and stabilizing the behavior, because I was experimenting with different aspects of right-to-left Beamer documents. And sometimes the solution that I implemented wasn't the best solution, so I had to reconsider it. And once I fixed the solution, then I had to go to all the other previous issues, try them one by one to see if all of them works correctly. Sometimes it didn't work correctly, so I had to adjust it to make all previous issues also fixed. So my initial plan had 3 components. I wanted to first fix all the features of default Beamer themes in right-to-left mode, then all the other themes, and the overlay stuff. So I completed 1 and 2, and what remains to be done is actually number 3, which is quite challenging. So all the as of now, all the official Beamer themes are supported. Additionally, 2 third-party themes, Metropolis and Focus, are also supported. Also, various buttons, nodes, frame zoom, etc., all work correctly in right-to-left mode. So what I'm going to do in this talk, my aim is to actually go through all the issues, or not all the issues because there are so many of them, but a selection of them, and show you what the issues were, show you the output as they were uploaded on GitHub, and show you the current output. And finally, talk about some of the changes that I needed to make for right-to-left Beamer documents. For the purpose of this talk, I'm not going to worry so much about the fine points. I just want to convey the key and main points. So let's talk about color in right-to-left mode. As I showed you previously, the color had an issue there. So we had to swap the order of the specials. Generally, when you want to have color, you define 2 control sequences, and this is what LaTeX actually does at very low level. So you have 2 control sequences. One is set color, and the other one is reset color. So how you define them is that you do your set color, you do color push, and then after group, you execute reset color. And your reset color is just color path. So this works correctly for left to right mode, but it doesn't work for right to left mode. So what you need to do, we need to swap the order of the specials. So with set color in right to left mode, we need to do color pop. And for reset color, we need to do color push. Although the second definition works in right to left mode, it doesn't work for inline math mode. So what we need to do, we actually need to check for math mode. If we are in math mode, we need to use this definition. Otherwise, we need to use this one. Okay. But the solution that I did with the bidi package was that I put a begin L before the first special. So this is really the modified version of the first definition that works in left to right mode, but it's extended to work also in right to left mode. So we put a begin L before special, color push, and then we put an end L at the end of it. And after the special, we put begin R, and just before the special, we put end R. So the purpose of begin L and end L is to actually make the color work in right to left mode. And the purpose of begin R and end R is to make the text that appears in color right to left. So then this works all fine, and we don't need to actually text for text mode or math mode and do things and reverse the definition of set color and reset color. But in XeTeX, which XeTeX actually uses, every begin L needs to be matched by end L, and every begin R needs to be matched by an end R. Therefore, in some places like an HBox, if you don't have an explicit grouping and you use color there, this is the kind of warning that you would get, which is not good. The warning is end L or end R problem, 1 missing, 0 extra, and it tells you at what line you got that. So the very first thing that I did with Beamer, whenever there was an issue, I actually checked for this kind of warning. And I looked at where it happens, and I used an explicit grouping to make this warning actually go away. And most of the time, some of the issues actually were fixed. Okay, another thing that I really needed to do was attention to details. So what I mean by that is that some components of Beamer are graphical, and it doesn't make sense in terms of tech to make them right to left. But what we need to do, we need to make the logic of those things right to left. So I've included some examples here. The first examples is the Beamer actor theme shadow and the frame titles. So if you use a theme like Warsaw, of course, without loading the bidi package, what you can see for the background of the frame title, you can see that it's a kind of shading. You first start with a blue color, and then as you move to the right from left, this color gets darker and darker until at the very end it's actually black. So when you want to do this for the right to left mode, you just don't want this to be exactly the same, but you want to actually reverse the logic here. So if I do this, you can actually see that the logic is reversed. So when you start from right, it's blue, but as you move to the left at the end, it becomes black. So then another thing is the kind of beamer buttons that you have. We need to make the logic right to left. So this is my second example that I'm going to show. And okay, it's wrong example. So I need the button ones. Okay. So there are some control sequences for making buttons. One of them is beamer go to button, and the other one is beamer skip button and beamer return button. All of these are done in PGF or TUGs. So making them for right to left mode, we also need to take care of the spacing, and we need to reverse the arrows. So that's what you get for left to right, and what you want to see is what you get for right to left. And this is what happens for right to left. As you can see, the spacing and the arrows are reversed, but the spacing is all right, and also the text of the button are written right to left. So the third example that I have included here is the progress bars in Metropolis and Focus Sims. So with Metropolis, when you have sections, you get progress bars, which actually progresses from left to right. And again, this is done with PGF picture. So it's not really a textual element that you want to make it right to left, but you need to make the logic right to left. So the progress bars progresses from left to right. And what we want to do, whenever we type something right to left, we want to make the logic also right to left. So this time the progress bar also progresses from right to left. And let me also show you the one with focus. So with focus, it's just the slide numbers that at the end, they progress from left to right. So in right to left mode, you just want to reverse the logic. Of course, this needs a second run. But that wasn't my main point. My main point is the bottom of each slide, which it needs to go from right to left. Okay, and the last one I want to talk about is actually frame zoom. So we want the frame zoom also work properly in right to left mode. I experimented a lot with frame zoom. I initially tried to make the coordinates left to right, and it didn't seem natural. So I decided that I needed a different approach, which was more natural. Okay, this is my frame zoom example. So once you typeset this in left to right mode, the first coordinate that you actually choose is the upper left x coordinate, and upper left y coordinate. So it's this point here. And the second coordinate that you choose, the first one is actually how far it goes. And then the second one, the 2 centimeter, is how long it is. So when you in right to left mode, you want to actually reverse the logic for the first coordinate. So you want this to be the upper right x, and this to be the upper right y value. Let me also show you how it actually magnifies on the second page. So if you use the same coordinate in right-left mode, obviously from right, 1 centimeter is here, right? And then you want this height to be 2 centimeter, and then this 2 centimeter. So you have selected this area, and you want to magnify this area on the next slide, which, as you can see, works correctly in right-left mode as well. Okay, and now I'm going to show you some of the issues that I fixed, and show you the outputs before fixing them and how they are now. So I'm going to skip some of these. I just do some of the key ones. So the first issue is that was reported was that the when you use the itemized environment or enumerate or other list-like environments, the symbol is outside the block environment, and this was the example that was given, and this was the output. So as you can see, the output was wrong. The indent is wrong, and also the symbol is to the margin, which is wrong, so it needs to move to the left. The same thing with other environments. It's the same issue, but anyway. So I just copy this. I have all the fonts. I just need to delete this line because this is already what the ZVersion package does. And run that, as you can see, it gives you the correct result. So that's for this one. So the second one was that the table of contents has incorrect indentation, which, if you think, it's almost the same sort of problem, but not really, because they are done differently in Beamer. So if you look at the output, so this was the output which was given, and this is awfully wrong. So let's try it now. Oh, I also needed to get rid of that. Okay. So as you can see, the table of contents also now works nicely in right-left mode. Okay, this is another list-like problem. The issue was that if you use something immediately after itemize, then after that, if you use another list-like environment, they would appear left to right. So this is what happened. and this is also wrong, so this also needed to be fixed. So this was also fixed, it works. I'm going to skip this one. It's just the footnotes, but footnotes work correctly. So as you can see, this is already closed, so I actually fixed this one. I want to get to more interesting ones. Okay, this was also a translation problem. So we needed to use Persian equivalents of example, definition, theorem, etc. So not so much interesting. This is another list-like problem, which I'm going to skip because I already showed you two of them. But if you're interested, you can look at this. Okay, for this one, I'm not going to do anything. I'll just say a few words about it. So with Beamer, it's set to be using sans serif font, but the ZPersian package provides the set text font control sequence, which actually uses the serif font. So this was just really a font issue. This is actually about Beamer button, which I actually showed you that it works correctly, so we can skip this one. Okay, so this is the Bergen Zim, which didn't work correctly. It actually didn't produce any outputs. It just gave error. So we're going to try that now. And before I do this, I just want to say that with the Bergen theme, because you put things on the margin, your actual titles cannot be that long. But in this particular example, they are long, so they clash. But that's not the main point. So this is what's going to be happening with Bergen. So if you have used this theme in left-right mode, you know that things appear on the other side of the screen. So this is your title, this is your this is the author, and this is the date, and this is the table of contents. So this is a theorem, and this is the itemize and enumerate environments. They appear on the margin as they should. This is a MATLAB program. This was the issue I was talking about. So in the margin, you cannot, the title of your example or block environment cannot be very long, because if it is long, it's in the margin, then also your itemize and enumerate symbols are in the margin and they clash. So this cannot be quite long. This is not a bidi issue, but actually the Bergen design. Okay, so this was about the rank positioning of section and subsection in some themes, which are listed here. The output that we had before was this. So as you can see, the section is gone to the very far right, which is not right, and this is gone here. So this one should come here, and the other one also here. So this was also fixed. So it all now works properly. Okay, so the next one was again an issue with some other themes. So I'll just show you the output to see what's the issue. So this is actually at the center, and with the other subsections, you get the same behavior. So what we want to do, we want to move them to the very right. I don't have that particular font, so I need to so this works now correctly. Okay, if we can move to the next one. So the other issue was that if you use themes with mini frame navigation, the output that we got was wrong. The issue is that the section that appears here are from left to right. So this is section 1, this is section 2, and this is section 3. So what we want actually, we want section 1, section 2, section 3. They should appear from right to left, not left to right. Okay, and I need to change the font. Okay, now they are done properly. So we have section 1, section 2, and then section 3. So I'm not going to worry about this one. I skip this one. I already showed you how frame zoom behaves, so I'm going to skip this one as well. The other one, the other issue was problem with nodes, and the issue is that when you actually do this thing, these are wrong. So this is the slide title and this is the date. And then you can see here this section, subsection, and the slide title. These are also wrong. They should be here. So we also have to fix this. Checking the fonts. I'm not going to worry about the digit font. I'm actually going to talk about this tomorrow with my math talk. And let's not worry about the Nasali fonts as well. So, okay, and then get rid of this as well. So we don't have that font. So as you can see, things work properly. The slide title, the date works correctly. I'm not sure if you can see my light, but you can see the issue I was talking about. You get some NL or NR missing problem. That actually is because that I have a color here, but this has no explicit grouping here. So to fix the issues, really, I need to use some explicit grouping. As you can see, all those warnings went away. Okay, so this is another translation problem, which I'm not going to worry. I can skip this one as well. So with this issue, I think I can skip this one as well. So this is again about footnote and LTR footnote, which I skip. Okay, so this is a particularly interesting one. So there was also some issues with some sidebar themes, like Berkeley, Palo Alto, other ones. So I'm going to actually just open one of them and see what the issue was. So this handwritten notes that you can see here is actually the notes from the person who reported the bug, telling me what needs to be fixed. So this sidebar should be from the right hand side, not the left hand side, and the table of contents, the title, also needs to go to the right. And TUG is also rank, so this is on the left, but it should be on the right. And as you can see, this is a displayed equation, but instead of being centered, what happened is that it actually shifted to the right. And for the enumerate environment, there is no numbering, so the numbering somehow got lost. So I'm going to try that now. Okay, since I show you Berkeley, I'm going to use the same thing here. So as you can see, things now work correctly. We have the sidebar on the right, and this is the slide title, author, and the section and subsections. So the displayed mat, which was previously shifted to the right, now it's centered, and you get the equation number as well, and you get the numbers for the enumerates as well. We can skip this one as well. Okay, this was another table of contents problem which was fixed. Okay, we can skip this one as well. Okay, so this one was about using color. Let me show you the output. So we got this, no color, but also this really silly text here. As I'm going to run this actually doesn't give me the correct result, and I will explain why. I'll fix this, but if I run this, it's not going to give me the correct result. As you can see, that text doesn't appear, but also we don't get anything in blue color. So the issue is that with XeTeX, the right-to-left algorithm only works in horizontal mode. So begin L, end L, begin R, end R are horizontal commands. So what we need to do, we actually need to force this to go to horizontal mode, because the color appears at the beginning of the paragraph, it's in vertical mode. So we need to just say leave V mode. And once we do this, you can see that we get the correct result. So on the first slide, we went black color. Then on this on slide number 2 and 3, we want that text to be in blue. And that concludes my talk. The last issue is not really important. So I hope that you enjoyed my talk. Thank you so much. If you have any question, I would be happy to answer them.
Thanks for the talk, Vafa. I just would like to add one small thing. I also mourn the loss of Michael Spivak, which was a very good friend. He was here in Berkeley when I arrived in 1982, and we struck the friendship right away. And most of his works are well preserved. You know, his books are well known and translated to many languages. This calculus book that you showed is translated into more than 8 languages, but some of the work that he did is not in such a safe grounds. AMS Tech is mostly have been converted into packages which are used within LaTeX these days, but MT Pro 2, which is the set of fonts, is not available in OpenType, and it's probably will disappear.
I know some kind of a funny story, but I can tell you. So one of the things I didn't mention was that one day I got an email from Michael Spivak. This is actually related to what he said. So actually, one day I got an email from Michael Spivak, but the funny thing was that he didn't want to send that email to me, so I wasn't the intended audience of that email. He actually was sending it to Khaled Hosni, because he actually developed fonts, but because of the similarity between my surname, both of them start with KH, he actually sent that email to me. So he was actually asking Khaled to actually convert his fonts to OpenType fonts, but I just forwarded his email to Khaled, and I told him that he just emailed me the right person, but I didn't know like what happened. But I think he was hoping to convert his fonts to OpenType fonts.
I know he was trying, and but I don't think it was ever achieved. And the sad thing is that there is a person that authored all the files, the auxiliary files of the fonts, which is Walter Schmidt in Germany. And he also passed away a few months away from Michael Spivak.
That's quite sad. Yeah.
So it's a sad development, and it's sad that very soon we may not be able to use MT Pro 2 anymore, the math-time fonts, if something's not really done to preserve it. Thanks very much for your talk.
My pleasure.
I think there's one Q&A. Let's see. Well, it's just saying thanks for all his effort. Chapeau Madalapu. And so if there are no more questions, we will finish the first section of the day, and we'll come back tomorrow for more. Come back in about 7 hours for more. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. It was nice seeing you.
Thank you.